back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Krystina and I make videos all about Disney tips and tricks. I do vlogs and I'm also a travel agent that specializes in Disney destinations. If you are in the beginning phases of planning your next Disney vacation and you're looking for a travel agent, my services are always 100% complimentary to you. All of my contact information is down below if you'd like to get a hold of me. And I don't just book Disney, I can book pretty much anywhere. Now today we're going to do something a little fun and get a little crafty. I'm going to show you how to make a DIY Disney countdown out of wooden blocks, and it's going to look something like this in the end. So not only did I make this countdown for the purpose of this video, but it is also for my family because we are going to Disney World. Yes, we're going back to Disney World as a family and we are going very soon. Right now my countdown reads 13 days, but by the time that I put this up, it's probably going to be much less. So we're going to Disney very soon, and I figured I would use this video to talk a little bit very briefly about what we're going to do, where we're going to stay, and what our plans are. So this will be kind of like a shorter trip. We are going to do a split stay again, and I feel like that's all we do lately, but last time we did a split stay between 5 resorts. This time we're only going to do 2. So we're going to start off, we're going to go back to the boardwalk where we were in October of last year. We're going to go back to the boardwalk, but this time we're going to be staying club level. If you're not familiar with what club level is, it's just another category of your room that you can book. And I got a really good price with my pass holder discount, and I've always wanted to try club level, so I'm really excited, and my husband and my kids are really excited because we get to have access to the club level lounges, which offer refreshments throughout the day, which are complimentary and they're included in the price, and like beer and wine. I've never done it before, so I'm definitely going to vlog all about it and let you know what we thought about it. And then after we check out of the boardwalk, we're going to check into the Grand Floridian because I just had to add one resort in that I hadn't done before, because every time we go I always try to stay at a new resort just to get a feel and to be able to like recommend it to other people or my clients. So we're going to be staying at the Grand Floridian, which I am really excited about. And just like the boardwalk, when we get to the Grand Floridian, we will also be staying club level. Again, I got a really good price with my pass holder discount, and as soon as I saw it, I snatched it up. We're really excited about that one because we've never stayed there. We've only been there for dining or to go to the spa or to just hang out. It's a beautiful resort. It's right in the Magic Kingdom area, and it is on the monorail. We are also going to be stepping outside of our Disney bubble, and we are going to make our way to Universal Studios. Now, I've been there before, but there was no Harry Potter areas at all, so a lot has changed. My husband and kids have never been. We've wanted to go for a while, and we figured we would just try it out on this trip. My youngest especially is really into Harry Potter right now, and I'm excited to try some butterbeer and go to Toothsome and get a giant milkshake. So I think that'll be fun and give us something new to try and get us out of our little Disney bubble that we're in. So yeah, that's basically what we will be doing on our trip. We'll be doing our split stay between Boardwalk Inn and Grand Floridian, trying out Universal and Islands of Adventure. Oh, it'll also be Flower and Garden Festival, which we love, so we're excited to try the new foods that they have and some repeats from last year. I will be vlogging everything from this trip, and I'll also be sharing a lot on Instagram, my Instagram stories, so I will leave that my Instagram name down below. So follow along. Now let's get into that tutorial. I hope that this will help you if you're planning your vacation and you just wanted a fun way to make a little countdown to count down the days to your trip. Let's start with the materials that you'll need for today. You're going to want some wooden blocks. I found mine at Michael's. I'm sure they have them at every craft store. I went with the 2-inch size. They also had a smaller size and a larger size, but it seems that the 2-inch size will be perfect for this project. You are going to want 2 pieces of wood as your base. Again, I got these at the craft store. Honestly, if you have someone handy at home, these would be easy to cut with a saw. And you're going to want some scrapbook paper. Now, I'm going with a Mickey Mouse theme here today, and I actually found some Mickey Mouse paper right at the craft store, and I also picked like some reds and blacks, a little bit of polka dots, yellows. I liked the chevron, and I found some blue airplane paper. I figured this would give the blocks a nice little pop of color. and you're going to want some letters and numbers. If you have a silhouette or a Cricut at home, feel free to just cut these out with vinyl. I have a silhouette at home, but I know not everyone does, so I figured I'd go the easy way and buy some already pre-made. You're going to want a pencil and 2 brushes, one for your paint and one for your glue. You will need a color of paint. I'm going with black today. You'll see later that you will see this a little bit, so keep that in mind when you pick out your color. And you're going to want some Mod Podge. This will serve as your glue and your gloss. I am going with the gloss finish today. They also sell a matte finish. And put down a placemat or some newspapers, and let's get started. I would paint all of your blocks ahead of time just so they're dry when it comes time to glue the paper onto them. So like I said, I'm going with black today. You will see this color a little bit. This will be a great job for the kids to do because you're basically just taking a brush, taking some paint, and painting the block. So make sure you get all of the sides of the blocks and then allow them to dry. So just paint away. Repeat that same process for your base pieces of wood. Now keep in mind that you're only going to have paper on the front and the sides and the back. So when you're painting the top and bottom, just make sure that you're doing an even job and they're nice and coated because they will be pretty visible. You can keep that in mind also when you are picking your color because you will see that top, but the paper is only going to go on the sides and the front and the back. So just paint your base wood and let that dry. Now here is where I kind of figured out a little trick. What I did was originally I had traced all of my blocks onto my paper, but we want our squares to be a little bit smaller than the actual square on the block. So what I think would work best was to trace one square onto your paper with your block. But then when you're cutting it out, cut out a little bit smaller. So stay inside of your lines because, like I said, you're going to want your paper to be a little bit smaller than your actual block. So once you cut out one little square, use that square as your stencil instead of using your block, and that way when you cut them out you can cut right on the lines. Also, I think I forgot to mention that you will need scissors. Okay, so yeah, you will definitely need scissors. But as you can see, I just traced all of my squares onto my paper, and remember, you want your squares to be a little bit smaller. So what I would do, and what I didn't actually do here, but I'm going to tell you now, again, cut out a square that's a little bit smaller than your block and use that paper square as your stencil for the rest. Make sense? I hope so. Now that we have our paint dry on our blocks and all of our squares cut out, we can start using our Mod Podge to glue all of our paper squares on. So I'm using a nice big brush and spreading my Mod Podge out, placing my square on top, and just hold that down for a few seconds so that it stays on, and flip it over. Repeat the process with all of the sides. You'll start to see your paint color showing through on the edges as you go. This is why we cut our squares a little bit smaller so that that paint will show through. So just keep going with all of your blocks and your base wood as well. Now that our paper and glue is dry, we can start sticking our numbers onto the blocks. I'm going to leave a little chart down below in the description and just let you know what numbers to put on which block since we are working with 3 blocks here. I really like these numbers. I found them at Michael's in the scrapbook section, and they're 3D and raised, and they have some sparkle to them. I thought they would be great for these blocks, and they really add like a little bit extra dimension, but you can just use whatever you have. So just stick all of your numbers on your blocks, and these do have a sticky back, but we will also Mod Podge over them later. You're going to notice here that I Mod Podged my base wood before I put my letters and words on. So I would actually suggest putting your letters and words on before you Mod Podge. Again, it's fine. In the end, you'll see I put the lettering over the Mod Podge, let it dry, and then re-Mod Podge. And now I'm taking some sandpaper. I did Mod Podge these blocks over the numbers and let them dry. So I'm taking some sandpaper and roughing up the edges. This is going to give it like a little rustic look. This is why we cut our paper a little bit smaller than the actual block. I really wanted that paint to kind of show through, but like in a rustic way. And just take your time. This is going to take a little while. Make sure, of course, your blocks are completely dried. You don't want to really like rip your paper. So again, make sure they're dried, because if it's a little wet, it's going to rip the paper. And just try to stay on the actual edges of the blocks. But in the end, it's going to give it a really cool looking effect. Now that I've let my Mod Podge dry on my base wood, I also roughed up the edges a little bit with the sandpaper, and it's time to put my lettering on the paper. So I'm going to write Days Until on this one, and then Disney on the bottom one. You can really write whatever you want. If you want to just put Days Until Vacation, that way you have like a generic vacation countdown. Could also do this for holidays, but I am going to do Days Until Disney, because no matter what, I'll always have Days Until Disney. And there you go. Your last step is to just Mod Podge over your lettering and let it dry. I know it looks a little weird and milky right now, but it will dry nice and clear and glossy. I hope that you enjoyed this DIY countdown video, and I'll try to make some more in the future. And I also hope that this countdown will help you have a little bit of fun while you're counting down the days to your next Disney vacation. Thanks so much for watching.